Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to season two, or is it season three? At this point, I'm just so confused because our season two only had one episode. But anyway, welcome to season two of Spill the Chai. Yes, we have been out of commission for a whole year. But we are back, Alhamdulillah, and we are going to be having more interesting conversations on topics that need to be discussed, topics that are often brushed under the carpet. And you know exactly what we mean when we say topics that are brushed under the carpet. Well, on Spill the Chai, we're going to be taking them out. We're going to be using that dustpan and broom to clean under the carpets and hopefully we will get solutions to the problems that we're facing in the South African Muslim community. And of course, I am back with my co-host and partner, Pumelele Sakina Dolamo, and I'm just going to call her Pume. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and assalamu alaikum to everyone else tuning in.
Hey, it's been a while, hey? It's been too long.
It's been too long. It's been too long, but Allah knows best. We plan, He plans, and He's the best of planners. So, unfortunately, last year what we had planned didn't fall into place, but Alhamdulillah, I hope this year we will be able to do much more than we had planned for last year.
Yeah, and while I'm busy with the stream, you might see an occasional hand or foot or back of the head or something, and that's because, yeah, that's one of the reasons why we had to put the show on hold last year. This year is exciting because we have a new look, a new name. Spill the Tea is now Spill the Chai, and we
Added some
have,
spice to it.
oh, definitely. We have new additions.
No,
All right, I'm going to
Alhamdulillah.
add our.
No, I was just saying that Alhamdulillah that we have some additional support to keep this vehicle moving, because it had to happen, and I'm very happy that we'll be joined by two lovely ladies that are well known in the community.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies. It's so great to have you both.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Lovely being here.
So, in case you guys didn't know, we have Iman. Iman is well known on social media, especially Facebook and TikTok. So if you don't know who Iman is, you need to get with the program, get with the times. And we also have Muallima Badrunisa Muhammad. She's the Muallima of our time. If we have any issue regarding a certain problem, we know who to go to because she's our friend and she studied the Deen, and she's around our age group. So I guess she has an idea about the issues that are going on in our time. So who better than Alima Batronisa? Ladies, the topic that we are discussing today is what is the people's favorite. Let me just put it that way bluntly. Everybody loves talking about this topic, whether people are for it or against it, but it is a topic that gets people talking. And I'm talking about polygyny. And just for correction, polygamy refers to women and men who are married to multiple partners, but polygyny refers to men only. And we know Islamically, only men are allowed to take multiple wives, to marry more than one. So we are discussing polygyny, and the topic is actually a desire or a necessity. Let's get into it, ladies. Let us pull that chai. Pulley. Hey. Chai.
What a way to start, hey?
And
Hey.
Can you guys see me?
Yeah, we can see you
Yes, we
very
can hear
clear.
you,
We
Iman.
can
We
hear
can
you. We
see
can
you as
see you.
well.
Can you see me, guys? I can't see you,
Yeah, we can hear you. We can see you loud and clear.
but I can't
Mhm.
see you.
So,
Why?
ladies, this topic of polygyny, right? Um,
Okay.
I think that one way or another, at this point, it's something that is done out of desire. However, there is a necessity for it. Because when we look at the times that we are living in, there are more women than there are men. So at this
Mm.
point, it's like every woman should have a husband. And the only way for the women to go about having a husband is for them to get into polygamous marriages. And hey, I want to
So
say something. I
I
want to say a
This
lot,
topic is
but
hot.
I think you ladies should go ahead. Whoever wants to start with it, take it away.
So I agree that there is a natural need for polygamy. Like we just need to look at statistics, and then we find that indeed in our time there is a natural need for polygamy, for polygyny. So that is not it's not something that we can argue with, because I mean if you look, there's so many gays, so that leaves the number of women without husbands even higher. We look at the pediatric ward and see how many children pass a certain pediatric age between the males and females, and you find more females survive the age past the age of 2 than males. You know, and then we have just normal statistics in the world. Women outnumber men by far. You know, this is why Hadith predicts that women will be 50 to one man, not necessarily meaning that it would be 50 women married to one man, meaning that one man will have to take care of probably 4 women, aunts, nieces, cousins, sisters, whatever, right? Because the number of men are that low. Men also die out faster than women, so it is definitely a natural need.
Mm.
Mm.
Hmm.
I,
I
w-
mean,
I would
definitely. I
like to
mean,
maybe just bring in something into the mix that um maybe maybe naturally there's a need for it, but does everyone qualify for the need? You know, because yes, naturally there might be a need for polygyny, but does everyone qualify for that need to fulfill that need?
I guess that's where the verse of the Quran comes with. It was revealed and it mentions that marry two, three, four, or just one, because there are conditions that were put in place for those who cannot maintain the two, three, and four. It means that you have to come down to monogamy, because as much as people like to say that polygyny is a sunnah, yes, it is, but so is monogamy. Monogamy is also a sunnah that people often tend to overlook and brush under the carpet. Polygyny, I mean, really, there is a necessity, but it's not for everyone. Really, not everyone wants to be in a multiple relationship household. Not everyone wants to have two or more mother-in-laws and sisters-in-laws, etc. Not everyone is for that life. I mean, and truth be told, we should stop pretending and forcing people to like something that isn't for them.
Yeah,
And
because
also, okay,
okay, Iman,
okay,
you
go
can
ahead.
go.
Okay, and also, I think men don't look on the other side. Yeah, issue yeah, polygamy, meaning those sides that goes with the struggling, the struggling of polygamy. Like I don't think they look on that side as well. Like as we all know, the struggle of polygamy. It leads us to anger, mistrustfulness, emotional distress, loneliness, emptiness, and unhappiness. Like, I don't think they look, you know, on that side. Like, I don't know how they think when they decide that they want to take the other party, second wife. Do they look on the other side? Do they think are the responsibilities that comes along with polygamy?
Yeah, I think, I think for me as well, my concern is also the same, that the language that I hear around polygyny, is very unhealthy,
Yes,
batho ba tlo re, like dilo like sare sa mosadi ke mosadi, you know,
yes,
as a way of solving a problem that they have with just the single marriage that they have. So they think that bringing in another wife will solve maybe a woman whom they regard as problematic, or if they feel that no, you as a Muslim sister, you don't want to wear hijab, let me go and marry a woman who wears hijab. I don't
yes,
see it right now in our community bringing, because I believe that polygyny is a good thing, it's a healthy thing, but so far in our communities, the language around it is very unhealthy. It's a very unhealthy language. And the second point as well that I've been hearing a lot is, if if someone is a player, if someone can't stick to one woman, they must
mm,
practice polygyny. And I also have a problem with that, because polygyny actually requires a lot of self-control, more than
mm,
playboy mentality. So if you have a playboy mentality, you are, how can I put, bringing down the dignity of polygyny, actually, if you say that it's a field for playboys. If someone can't control their desires, then they should consider polygyny. I don't know, about what do you say about such things, because that's the language that is currently around polygyny, which I feel is very unhealthy.
it is
Um,
unhealthy.
Jazakallah for this beautiful point. I think we are put in spaces, or we are put in situations where we cannot express what we feel or how we feel about certain things. So, two things that I just want to comment on. One, what Miriam was saying about knowing whether you can handle more than one wife. And then coming to the point that Sister Sakina has just made about the bad conversation around polygamy, or the bad excuses as to why you are going into polygamy. So, one, I don't think anyone cares about whether they can handle more than one wife. I think they just focus on the part that it's a sunnah.
Mm.
They're not bothered whether they don't bother about the other part where Allah says if you can't be just, then stick to one. They just focus on the part that Allah says they can have two, three, four. What Allah says
Mm.
thereafter, they're not bothered with that. They don't care about the repercussions that comes with taking or entering into a polygamous marriage. And yes, I too have heard the saying of Ustad Musad Musad, which is so, so hurtful. How do you go and say to the one you love that I'm gonna fix you with another woman?
Mm,
Or why can't you be like so and so? Like the example from her. That is hurtful. You are breaking somebody down. So the sunnah is not being practiced the way it should be practiced. Like what is happening now in our society is the sunnah is just being done for the sake of it being done, and we are not looking at the aspect: do we qualify to be in it? Are we financially stable? Is my home stable enough to handle a subsequent marriage? You know,
mm,
will a subsequent nikah be detrimental to the current one. Those are the things that we are not looking at and the conversations that we shy away from. I remember once in conversation it was said that regardless of whether they had an affair before, that is for Allah to judge. But now, how are you expecting something good to come from something that started off bad?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you expect that to happen? Already the whole thing is tainted. You already started off disrespectfully. So how am I supposed to give you that respect or the trust that um, you're gonna have my best interest at heart? These are things that are not being taken into consideration, and it's conversations that nobody wants to have. Everybody's shying away from it. Like, oh no, they did it. It's halal. Whether it's right or wrong, that's between them and Allah.
Mm-hmm. And Appa, it goes back to what Sakina said about the language that has been used. I mean, we another thing that we hear most people say is that I'm entitled to more than one wife. So, and I don't have to ask permission, so I can go ahead and do this in secret. And that is absolutely nonsense. Okay, fine, you don't have to ask for permission from your wife, but doesn't she have the right to know? Does it mean that you have to be doing something in secret behind her back, and then only after a couple of months or even years, when there are kids in the mix, and that's when she finds out that you actually have another family, or you've been married to somebody else all this time? uh, there's absolutely nothing wrong with coming to your wife and saying, look, uh, I feel like I need um, another wife. I feel like I want to add another woman to the mix. Even though that doesn't sound right, however he says it, but she deserves to know. And one thing I
Yeah,
think that should also come in place, or should also be put in play, is before you get married, before you intend to get married, you have the intentions, etc. Before you even meet someone, you should know yourself as a person. Do I want to have multiple wives? Do I want to have? Do I want to be in a polygynous marriage? And when you do find that someone, you should let her know that, look, here are my conditions. I'm going to want to, I may somewhere along the lines want to take another wife for such and such reasons. Most of the time, they usually say, um, for multiple kids, they want to have many more kids, and go there, etc. Which is why they would want to take more wives. But for others, they have their own reasons of why they want to take another wife. But somewhere along the lines, you have to put it in your conditions. And you also have to remind her and let her know, look, okay, um, I'm going to take another wife. But these days, I don't know how it's happening. I don't know how people are conducting polygamy, how they're going about it, but we hear of sisters complaining about it all the time. That's why it's a topic which is mostly found on the socials. People always get heated about it because it's not done the right way, for the right way, as people will say. And another thing is also when you mention justice, when you mentioned that polygamy is about finance and having to be able to maintain the household, they look at you as a gold digger. Like, yeah, you're a gold digger. You only want this. You only want that. This. It always comes down to money. But in actual fact, marriage alone itself requires finances. It requires money to run your household. What are you going to feed your wife? What are you going to feed your kids? Does that not require money? If you're adding somebody else to the mix, do you not need extra money for that person? Yes, Allah will provide, but you need to tie a camel as well. You need to make a plan to show that everything will be okay, and I'm able to look after another family. And there was a comment that I came across on Facebook in this group, and the woman was really really heartbroken because her husband took another wife, and she was like, he provides everything for her, and everything has nothing has changed. Basically, she's still the same. She sees him Monday to Friday, but on weekends when he goes to his second wife, she feels very hurt. She feels broken. She feels like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. So what should I do? Should I divorce this man? I mean, everything is fine. He looks after me, except he goes to another woman on the weekend.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I think this
You
is
know,
emotional.
one of the challenges actually starting, uh, before we even
when
engage
Miriam
in,
says
in the idea of
men call us
polygamy.
nay. So I think that also men they forget that when you find a woman o e leng goreng o mo kry-ile ko gabo a le ba mo tlhokometse financial stable in a nice home. So when you marry that woman, Islam says you must treat her the way you find her, you know, or you must do more to your wife. I don't know if you get me.
Mm,
Hmm.
Yes. If a man finds a woman living in a, let me say, a double story home, a double story house, and then the man wants to put that woman in a shack, does it make sense? Does it make
It
sense?
doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Exactly. And then
However, unless they
when
have
we
an
speak when
understanding.
we speak out, they say we love materialistic. How can you say I
Hmm.
love materialistic? You find me in a materialistic home, you know? You find me in a
Mm.
materialistic home. So you don't have a right to tell me I'm materialistic unless you find me living in a shack or in a small house. Then yeah,
Hmm.
a man can tell me those words that are materialistic, but other than that,
hmm.
yeah,
Uh,
he doesn't have a
Jennifer,
right
you
to
wanted
tell
to
me
say?
those words.
I was just saying that, sometimes women will compromise, she comes
Mm,
from a good life, and then, okay, I'm going to go and struggle with him. I'm going to start from the bottom. We'll do it together, It's like, "Khoma fatshe ko mokhukhung, ka lepolele one le komiki," you know. And yeah, and then everything falls into place, and you've got the house and everything, and then boom, now you want a second wife. Oh wow, really?
Mhm.
you
Like
need to
you can
build him up.
barely, yes.
You need to build your man up,
Um,
ladies. You can't be letting your man just look and jay. You know, he needs to
you,
have a certain look.
Yeah, yeah.
Pume?
you know, you know, I don't. Can you hear me? Because my network is just going on
Yes,
and off.
Yeah,
This
can hear
thing,
you.
you know.
yes.
The challenge that I see before we even consider polygyny, before we even consider marriage itself, there are a whole lot of 100 conversations that we are not having around marriage. We
Mm,
are not asking people about their financial status. And I'm not talking about bank balance here. I'm just talking about a person's attitude towards money and building wealth. And we are not talking to people about their mental state.
mm,
Where are they in their headspace? We're not talking to people about their educational level. And here, when I say educational level, I'm not talking degrees and diplomas. I'm talking about a person's worldview. How do they see the world? Do they see the world as a place of growth? Do they see the world as a place of lack? What's their worldview? What's their education about their world? We don't ask people such things. We just say, if two people want to get married, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said we shouldn't delay, they should get married immediately. But there's a whole lot of conversations that are not taking place, which ends up people, even in monogamous relationships, are suffering dearly because they are not having these conversations where they are talking about their health. What's your goals about your health? What's your goals about your finances? What's your goals about your spirituality? And those things we assume, since both of us are Muslims, we are both on the same spiritual length. And it does not mean if we are all Muslims, we are on the same spiritual length. People have different spiritual goals. There are people who immediately they know, as soon as they become mature, they are saving towards Hajj. And then there are people who like, no, I'll perform Hajj when I'm 50 or 60. So we need to ask these questions, where are you at spiritually? Where are you at financially? Where are you at educationally? I need to know a lot about you before I decide to say Kabiltu, because Kabiltu is a lifelong commitment, and we are just not investigating and investing enough time into that Kabiltu. Just want to do it quickly because someone is there, is available. And that's it's killing us actually as a Muslim community.
No, that's
Yeah.
very correct, eh? Like, I think, as you're saying, there are conversations that need to happen that are not happening. We aren't looking at mental health. We aren't looking at how certain decisions cause trauma and also affect one's mental health. We aren't talking about, um, will this person be a perfect fit? In your mind, it could be. Because honestly, polygyny in theory is perfect. The
Mm,
practicality of it, it's something completely different.
mm,
Looking at the two people, do you think that they will be able to gel together? Will they be able to run a home together? Will you achieve the goal that you're setting out? Are you honest? Have you introspected? Are you being honest as to why you are doing it? Do you really want to have that blended big family? Are you listening to your current wife, her emotions? Are you cushioning her through it? Are you being emotionally supportive to her? Yeah, like there's a lot of conversations that we are just not having, and we are shifting blame. In most times, in most instances, the first wife is always being blamed for her emotional state during this process or any form of outflow. And oftentimes, the subsequent wife doesn't come to build, has no intention to be. She wants to be a subsequent wife, but she doesn't want everything else that comes with being a subsequent wife. The husband wants polygyny, but doesn't want everything else that comes with polygyny. He's going to be picking sides. He's going to be siding with one. Okay, there's some things like me, so we're going to do things our way, you know? So, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to dissect when it comes to polygyny.
mhm.
And
I'm trying to
also,
think.
don't forget. Okay,
Okay,
okay, go on.
go ahead, Iman.
No, you can go on.
I'm trying to think, is this only a South African problem, or do we also have a similar problem outside of the country? Because I know most of the times when we do have these conversations, it just involves South African Muslims, but there might be similar problems outside. If there are any Muslims who are outside of the country who are watching this and listening, please share your comments with us and your thoughts on this topic, because we feel like because we live in this country and because we interact with the people in the country, that it might just be a South African problem. And if there is a way to solve it, and if it's solvable, maybe then polygyny will become a necessity and not a desire. Iman, you can go ahead.
Okay, I just want to add on what you have said. I've read somewhere that it say polygamy has been historically associated with practitioner society and abuse, which has led to illegality in many countries. So it shows that it's not in South Africa only. Polygamy do not, yeah, it's not
No,
only
no, I know that polygamy is not only in South Africa. It is practiced worldwide, globally. In fact, with non-Muslims as well. Non-Muslims, I know we've seen that show Sister Wives and Uthando Nostem. We've seen it. Many people have watched it and also liked it and disliked it as well. But what I want to know is how it's done in other countries. You know, do they have similar
Mm-hmm.
problems that we're facing in South Africa? Like as Sakina mentioned, the conversations that we are not having around marriage prior to that, thinking that bringing in a second wife is just going to fix the problems that we are already facing. And you know, if you do not deal with your problem at the moment, bringing in somebody else is not going to solve the problems. And you're going to have to put in the work. Even if you are in a monogamous relationship, you still have to put in the work in order to ensure a successful marriage.
yeah, polygamy is a
And
problem everywhere. Because
I think
I
we've
used
we've
to want
also
okay, go on.
There's a delay, so it's causing a bit of technicalities. Um, Perhaps we should just raise our hand.
okay, was somebody talking because I just started talking and then I heard an echo.
Yeah, I think Iman
Iman.
was trying to say something. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was saying, I used to watch these videos on YouTube. This country, what was it? I think it's USA.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to polygamy, they meet with the Maulanas or Sheikh, yeah, and then they interview the husband and they ask the valid questions. The question they ask the husband, they say, like they tell him that, like, what's your barking, your salary? You know, what's your salary? And the other question is your wife happy? Do you treat her right? And what was the other question? Or the other question was, what's your reason of taking a second wife? If you can't
Mm.
uh, answer those questions, they cut you off. They say no. That's what I like about that country.
And I
Like
think
they
that
want
is
to
how
see
it
if you
should be
can do
done.
things. Mm.
I think that's how
Like
it
they
should be
You know,
done. You know,
this
also
questions
they
country.
told
which
the wife. They also told their wife. They question her if the man treats her right. Is she giving her money? Like they like yo. I just love that country. Like they do polygamy right.
Iman,
I
you should
like it.
share the video or a link to the video so that we can share it far and wide, and maybe that will encourage the people to, you know, start doing things right.
All right, inshallah, I will
true.
try to find that video because it's been long. It's been long, but I'll try to find it. inshallah.
But
I think
also
we've
I think,
mentioned.
if I may, another thing that I'm picking up, from what Iman was saying, so basically those Molanas are trying to establish some type of a justice, to understand, will you be just, and I also just want to pose actually the question to Apapa Drunisa, that do people understand the difference between equality and justice? Because sometimes a person may feel like, okay, I've got 20,000 rand. It means I can give one house 10,000 and I can give the other household 10,000 and I'm sorted, Like people understand that equality and justice are not the same thing, If I've got oily skin, you cannot give me a product for dry skin. You need to give me a product that will address my needs as a person with oily skin, So, are we understanding as a community the role of justice over equality?
Definitely, there's a lack of understanding of justice and equality. Um, this is the example I always use, right? So you've got, and it just so happens also that this is actually my reality. But you have a tall wife and you have a short wife, right? So now you must buy dresses. So one dress is going to be longer than the other one. So it means it's going to be more expensive. So are you going to say no because this one's dress now is 1,000 rand? I'm also going to go look for a dress of 1,000 rand. You have to provide for each one according to their needs. So, for example, if you say you're giving each household 10,000 rand, does the other household need that 10,000 rand? One house has probably 6 children, the other one has 10 children. Doesn't the one with 10 children need more money than the one with 6? So, we need to understand what it means, what justice and equality means, and unfortunately, there is a lack of understanding. Um, you find a man take the second wife that doesn't have children, but yet he wants to give the first and the second wife the same amount of money. They live in the same size house. Why does that one need the same size house? She doesn't have that. She doesn't have children. And then they'll come with excuses like, no, but the children will come and visit. We need that space. So we need to understand what justice and equality is. And unfortunately, these conversations are not being held with men. There is no preparation. Men are not being taught how to do polygyny. All these programs and talks are all being done with women. Everyone feels that women need to be prepared or be taught to accept. Like, okay, we accept and then we still have to deal with somebody that has no clue as to what they're doing. Why aren't you preparing and talking and teaching the one that has to be the leader in this whole thing? Why are they left to just free reign? They're just winging it. I'll figure it out along the way. And along the way, you are causing so much emotional distress to somebody else because you're just doing it. You just think, okay, I must do it. I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do it that way. Something that has happened is men want to be in polygamy but treat it as monogamy. Like mind your own business. Each one mind their own business. Yes, there are things that you need to mind. But if something in that unit is affecting each other, you need to come together to resolve it. There has to be some form of respect. You don't need to be buddy buddy. You need to have some form of respect. You need to understand boundaries. You need to have a level of communication because at the end of the day, there has to be some sort of communication because you're married to one man. Should this man fall ill and you guys are not joking, who's going to tell who? So, yeah, there's a lot.
Then can I dare say that polygamy is for the emotionally intelligent man? You have to be an emotionally intelligent man, not just someone who's trying to get the best of two worlds, because there's a lot of conflict resolution that you have to do. There's a lot of calculations that you have to do, that, you know what, in this household, they eat only organic food. So I have to make sure that my budget can cover only organic food. And in this household, they prefer eating McDonald's. I don't know, you know. So they, can I dare say that then, you know, really polygyny, you know, I'm getting used to that word. Polygyny should be pursued by an emotionally intelligent man, a man who truly knows what he is doing and how he is going to go about practicing it and making sure that it's a successful marriage.
Yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done when it comes to this topic of polygyny, polygamy.
And also,
Because
let's not
go
forget
ahead, Iman.
children, because it affects our children more mental health problem. So it affect them in many ways, and it's really sad, guys. It's really really sad, and it makes me emotional when I talk about it, because many children who comes from polygamy marriage, like they lack of self-esteem. Some they start dressing inappropriate. They start drinking alcohol, bagroover, bajola. They get pregnant while they are in high school. It's a lot because polygamy, and these men, they can't. That is why I'm saying, when a man decides gore yena o batla second wife, o kgone go lebelela masaite a mangwe gore mara if ke tea second wife, what are the consequences and the risk of polygamy? Because polygamy is a lot of work. E batla nako. If you don't have time for it, ke mathata. Ke mathata.
Yeah, Iman, you know, it's true when you mentioned that um, it requires work, and all the parties involved, it becomes very difficult for them, especially the kids who are the ones who are going to be bearing the brunt of uh, the new family. Perhaps the man married someone who already has kids, so now it will become a blended family, and that blended family will now need to go through the emotional work, you know, the work of you know, learning and understanding each other. You know, knowing that I have stepbrothers and stepmother outside of this relationship, and at the end of the day, we want it to be amicable. We want everyone living together to be on good terms. You know, you be able to understand each other, be able to whatever it is that you need, you're able to go through that together as a family. You know, you can build together. You can grow together as a family, not just build financially, but build spiritually also. I think what most of the men look at is they view this dream they have, you know, I have my wife here, you know, and then I have all my kids, and you know, we have like this mini soccer club, or we have our mini little village together. That's what they envision. But unfortunately, that's not how it's being done. I don't think that it would be a problem if it was done correctly. If you know, everything that we had discussed and spoken of earlier was looked at. You know, just a moment, ladies. You may continue.
I think that the other issue is that men just expect that you should be okay, or society. Let's not just say that it's men. Society is expecting a woman, a first wife, to be okay with the coming of the subsequent wife, irregardless of how it affects her. You know, um, you are not allowed to have a breakdown. You're not allowed to be emotional. You're not allowed to be angry. Or you have a time frame where they ask you, why aren't you over it yet? Um, and people also don't see the the background, what is happening behind the scenes. Um, should you, like, I'm honestly trying to just count my words, because I don't want people to be like, yeah, she's better because she's in polygyny or whatever. But they don't know what's happening behind the scenes, and you are expected to put on this facade that you are okay, or whatever. And the reality of the situation is, it is something that destroys. It can either destroy or it can build, depending on how somebody does it, and or how everyone involved goes about it. What are your intentions? Are you sincere in what you are doing? Um, do you want to see any form of progress? Um, do you care about the next person's well-being? Do you care about the children's well-being? All the children, not just the one from the first or the subsequent wife, all the children's well-being. Do you care about everyone else's peace? It's not just about your peace and what you want. So yeah, guys, the topic of polygyny is so broad. I think we could sit here for days and days and just dissect it and talk about how. But I think one of the main things that we've been revisiting in this topic is, the are they doing it out of lust or necessity? And right now, I feel more it's a fashion. It's happening because so and so is doing it. Let me also do it. We're not looking at the impact of what it is having on those around us. And like Sister Sakina said, are men emotionally mature enough to do this? Do you have your head screwed on right? Are you prepared to lead and lead so justfully? Um, are you considering the lives that are being affected by your decision? Or is it just your ego leading you? That I'm a man, I'm going to do what I want to do, how I want to do it. You just need to come to the party.
Mm. And after speaking on that, it also comes down to you to when you are in a monogamous relationship. It comes down to how you were raised as a person. You'll find Hore, somebody says, "No, you can't ask me where I'm going because a man doesn't say where he's going." That mentality should come out. You can't, as a responsible person, as a responsible man, as a responsible husband, you need to be able to tell your partner, if you value your partner enough, you need to be able to let them know, okay, look, I need to go here. If you don't want to say what you're going to do, it's fine, but let them know that I need to go here. The same way with polygyny. Let your partner know what is going to happen. They got married to you. They thought that they were going to be the only one. Then jiggy jiggy, somebody else is joining the party, and now it's like, no, you just have to accept it. You can't just, we can't just wake up one day and say, oh yeah, no, I accept. The same way that you accepted him when he asked for your hand in marriage. He came there asking you nicely. He came to your family, hey, hey, oh, I want to marry your daughter, etc. Now when it's Polly, you mustn't come. Hey, hey, no, you must come the same way you came when you came to my family. Come to me as well, and no, don't ask me, but let me know. Let me know what is going to happen, and not just um, 2 weeks down the line, because that just tells you that this person has been busy elsewhere. This person has been chatting to somebody, busy telling her that I wish I met you before I met my wife. He's been busy there. Then he comes and tell you, yeah, you know what, I'm taking a second wife, and I hope that you will be okay with it. And no, that is nonsense. We don't want that. We want it properly done. And if you don't know how to do it, go and learn. Work on yourself first. Work on your current marriage. Learn how to effectively communicate with your partner, and then you can decide what you want to do from there.
I think, when you say that, it speaks to me about where we come from as a people, the our background, our accountability culture, if you look at it. So the way we practice polygyny is just basically an example of, just even when it comes to monogamy, we are not practicing monogamy properly because we just come from a culture of lack of accountability, lack of responsibility. So we carry that through with not just polygamy, but with our monogamous relationships, with our relationships with our parents, our children. There's just lack of accountability, and we feel like if we extend it to polygyny we will get better, but actually we just create an even bigger and bigger problem. So I really like it when you say that we need to work on ourselves more before we even think about stepping into marriage. At least let's do some work, guys. Like, let's do some work. These are your strengths, these are your weaknesses. Work on yourself a little bit before you go bother someone else's child.
All right, Badrinisa needs to leave. Upper Badrinisa, a final point before you go.
The final point would just be that, self introspection. Um, Men need, there's a lot of work that needs to be done when it comes to polygyny. And just for first and subsequent wives, when you find yourself in a situation where your mental health is being affected, um, advocate for yourself. Take time to pour back into yourself. And I think fighting is draining. Just pour back into you. Go to your musalla. I'm not saying this to minimize anyone's pain or whatever, but go to your musalla. Remember, Allah doesn't bring us to something without any hikmah in it, without any khair in it. There's a reason for everything that Allah brings us to. And if we find ourselves in a situation that is not conducive or that is not being done right, dua is our weapon, and there are other tools also. Polygamy is not a death sentence. It is not something that you are forced to be in. If it is not for you, it's not for you. And yeah, just let him know. Don't feel that this is a trap and you have to do it because that's what they want. What is society gonna think? Yeah, I think that's that's the final word. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Papa Nisa.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And a final point from you ladies. Let me start with Iman.
My final point would be um, both parties must go for counseling, and they must also run some tests before the men get married to the second. Um, there must be communication, and the man must keep his expectation realistic, and they must respect each other. And yeah, a man must make time. He must make time. That's my final point.
Oh, yo, I keep on just muted. I'm muting. And Sakina, what are your final points?
Okay, I would like to add on a lighter note. There's a joke that I came across actually. It says marriage is like a deck of cards. In the beginning, all you need is two hearts and a diamond. But after a while, you wish you had a club and a spade.
Yeah, and you know what, ladies, I would like to know from you, since we are not living in polygyny, and people will probably say, but what are they talking about? Because they're not even living in polygyny. We need people with lived experiences to be able to give us advice. So if there's anyone out there who has lived in polygyny, who is currently a second, third, or fourth wife, we'd like to know from you as well. What is your experience? How were you brought into the household, into the family, and how is the current situation? Because I've read comments, and many of them were comments from women who are unhappy, and people will say that no, she's just bitter, etc. But she's probably not bitter. There's a reason why she is unhappy. And ladies, going forward, you can think about this. You don't have to answer. Will you be okay if your husband brings in a second wife? And I just want you to think about it for now. Like, will you be okay if your husband brings in a second wife? Uh, we know that we can't not allow him, but it would be best if he lets us know, if they let us know that they would like to marry more, or marry someone else. Would you be okay with it? All right, so let us end it there, and we will be back next time with another hot topic of discussion. And we would like to encourage you to like our pages and follow us so that you are up to date with the latest news, and also keep on talking about the topics that we discussed today. And the topic was polygyny, um, a desire or a necessity. Ladies, I hope you have a wonderful day going forward. Fia Manila. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.